Hello and welcome to the Local Government People's Program. My name is Adam Spagnolo and it's my pleasure to welcome you once again to our program. I have with me in the studio today Hamersley Ward candidate for the City of Stirling, Jack Garber. Good morning, Jack.
Good morning, Adam. Thank you.
And well, my name is Adam Spagnolo, as I've just mentioned. I'm also a candidate for the City of Stirling Council election, Osborne Ward, which is on right now, Jack, along with the Hamersley Ward, and along with all local governments in Western Australia. And make sure that if you've received your postal voting packages, that you take care of those as soon as possible. The latest date, of course, to vote is the 21st of October. But Jack, we encourage people to send in their postal votes a lot sooner than that. In fact, as soon as you get them, if you can deal with those as soon as possible, there's a good chance that they'll get in before the 21st, because any entries that arrive after the 21st of October, as I understand it, are not going to be counted.
No, they have to be received at the Electoral Commission by the 21st, Adam.
Fantastic. Jack, today I'd like to talk about elections, because it's very topical. But what I'd like to also talk about is the City of Joondalup. There is a mayoral election there. I'd also like to talk about the City of Perth. There seems to be a bit of a race going on there, not so much for the mayor's position, but certainly jockeying for positions for the council table. I also want to talk about verge trees, and I also want to talk about the bulk rubbish pickup. Perhaps we could start with the City of Joondalup and the mayoral election there. It's my understanding that there are 8 candidates in that particular election. I don't know all of the candidates. I know of a couple of them. But one of the things that I've noticed in the West Australian in recent times is that one of the big issues out there that all of these candidates seem to be looking at is the bulk rubbish collection. You'll recall, certainly in the City of Stirling and in other local authorities, what's happened in the past. The bulk rubbish has actually just been bulked up at the front once or twice a year, and then it's been picked up by the local council. What's happening now, of course, is people are using skip bins, people are using tip passes and the like. So the question is, there are some councillors and there are some candidates who obviously like the situation of the current system where people use a skip bin and passes, and there are some councillors and candidates who believe that the old system should return, whereby the rubbish is all bulked up on the verge and the council goes around and picks it up. Do you have a view on this, Jack?
Well, I think the important issue is what the ratepayers believe. I've been receiving a number of phone calls on this issue. I've received a number of phone calls on this issue. And there is quite a favorable response to going back to the old bring out the dead system. And I did a bit of questioning about this to a sitting councillor recently. It appeared to me that one of the reasons that we've gone to the skip bin method was for saving costs.
That's right.
And that is that we don't have the same number of workers canvassing the streets, the same amount of equipment that's required to collect the bring out the dead system. However, I was reminded that if that's the case, why do we have such a large increase in our rates as a result of increased cost of bulk rubbish removals?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it doesn't. It may not be saving money.
Yeah.
The second part of that is that using the bin system, it doesn't allow for any recycling whatsoever.
Yep. Look, I thought, Jack, that this was more for ratepayer expediency. I'm not sure that the cost factor actually came into it. What actually did come into it was the fact that, hey, under the old system, we could virtually put anything out there. We could put car batteries, we could put this, we could put that, we could put all of these things. Whereas now, when you're using the actual skip bin, it's quite restrictive. It gives you a whole host of things that you cannot put in there.
Well, you know, that might, yeah, that's absolutely true. And there's the other issue is, the other restriction on that is that the elderly have a difficult time using the skip bin.
Good point.
And with the amount of wet weather we've had recently, the amount of water that's accumulating at the bottom of the skip bins,
Yeah.
even though it's rubbish, People are reluctant after it's filled with water to actually put their own rubbish back down into the skip bin. Yeah. But going back to the point, it hasn't been one of my favored things to watch people comb through my rubbish on the verge in the past. However, it's been pointed out to me that is a form of recycling.
It is, absolutely.
And the other aspect of that is that with the skip bins, there's no sorting of it. It goes straight into landfill, and there's no hope that there'll be any recycling of any of the items that are dumped into the skip bin.
Hence the restriction on obviously what you can and cannot put in that
that's right.
skip bin.
That's the reason for the restriction.
Okay, well, Jack, so basically that's one of the main issues that would appear in the City of Joondalup election for the mayor's position. Yeah. And who are the candidates, actually? I know that Rob Johnson, who's a former Member of Parliament,
yes.
He's one of the particular candidates. Albert Jacob, is that right?
Albert Jacob, Russell Powaka, Gary Morris, Nisar Shah, Brogan Murphy, Graham Stickland, and Chris Morrison.
Okay, a total of 8 candidates. Obviously, we wish you all the very best of luck, candidates, and may the best man win, I guess.
Certainly.
Yeah. Look, just getting on to the City of Perth, there's no mayoral election there as such, but there is a bit of a race there going on at the moment.
Yeah, there's 4 seats up for grabs in the City of Perth. Councillors Harley, Limnios, and McAvoy and Young are up for re-election.
Okay. All right. And obviously at the moment I think it's in a caretaker mode there in terms of the Lord Mayor's position. Is that correct?
I'm not quite sure exactly what we define it as, but I believe the deputy is
currently running the
council. That's correct.
As a deputy would.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't think we have any more to say about the City of Perth. One thing I do want to raise, Jack, is verge trees. Now, this is certainly quite evident in the City of Stirling. What's happening, and certainly this is what's been coming to me from the various people I've been talking to over the last few months. You'd be aware, Jack, that there is a program in place where they want to plant something like about 1 million trees sometime between now and around about the year 2025.
That's correct. Yeah.
The program is well and truly underway, but it is actually upsetting some of our ratepayers, and that does concern me because what they're saying to me, I don't know whether you're hearing the same thing, is that the council is actually going around and putting these trees, they're actually fruit trees, some of them are almond trees, some of them are olive trees, all different types of fruit. They do give people a choice apparently. But some people are saying, well look, I don't want a tree on my verge. Put one down the road, put one around the corner, but I don't want one. And they are concerned. It's not about not wanting the trees. I love trees. I'm very passionate about trees. I know that you are as well. And certainly so are the people that I've been speaking with. But their concern is they're saying, look, we should have an option. We should have an option. The council shouldn't come and just suddenly dig up our verge and plant a tree without saying, look, we'd like to put a tree here. How do you feel about it? In other words, a bit of public consultation. Apparently, it is not happening. I just wondered what your view is on that, Jack.
Look, I've had quite a bit of feedback on this issue as well in canvassing the Hammersley residents. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of answers to some of their questions, and it's something that I plan on bringing up at council, and certainly at a time when we might be sitting at the table, Adam. But since it's an operational issue, it's very difficult for us as councillors to actually make a difference on that without making a change in the overall policy. The issues that have been raised to me, and the things that I've heard, are that once a tree is planted, it's the responsibility of the ratepayer to care for the tree after the first 2 years. So there are some ratepayers who are concerned about the fact that they'll be trimming trees and raking leaves
that's
and
very
watering
interesting.
plants.
Very interesting, Jack. I'll tell you why. I came across a property just recently. It was a corner block, a frontage of about 15, 20 metres, and the depth of the block was around, say, 40 metres, 35, 40 metres. And the guy actually complained to me. He said, look, Adam, he said, I've got 2 trees at the front of the house that the council has planted, and down the side they've planted 5, a total of 7 trees, and 3 of them were dead. Now, according to what you're saying, the council looks after them for the first couple of years, and then it's the responsibility of the ratepayer. Well, what's happened in this case? 3 of them, in less than about 6 months, have died.
Well, I had that situation as well, and in the instance where a ratepayer mentioned that, the ratepayer called the council. They came out and offered to replace the dead tree. So,
Yes.
So I believe they're being replaced if they do die within that period of time.
Yeah.
The point is that the caretaker period for the trees appears to be 2 years.
Yes.
Now, I don't have solid ground to say that's the current policy, but it's something that we need to look at, because it is an issue that ratepayers are concerned about. Homeowners are voicing their opinion on it.
I think the message is we're all in support of trees.
Yes.
Certainly the public is, I am, you are. But the problem is there are some people that don't want a tree out in front of their place for whatever reason. They might have 5 in the backyard, but they certainly don't want one. And it's a bit of a catch-22 situation, because the council has an overall policy on its streetscape, and the people that live there have a certain view as to how they want their front of their property to look like. So it's something that, as you say, we need to have further discussion on, further dialogue, further public consultation, and hopefully we'll come up with an answer. We'll be back very shortly with more local government people's program. Thank you for watching.